What's good, everybody? It's Bro24. Gonna show you guys a deck update to the Darkrai Turbo, the expanded version. It won't be much of a thing in standard. At least for now, this card is still pretty good. Maybe in the future they'll release some cards that make it great again in standard. But yeah, I haven't really used this deck for a bit, and I'm gonna use it again, show you guys a few games, and I thought it might be a good time for an update. Not a lot of stuff has been changed, if anything really. I think I did change some stuff. So we're going to look at the basic stuff. This is Darkrai Turbo, of course. Aims to get a bunch of Darkness energy in play. So this guy can do a lot of damage and get one-hit knockouts. Has a lot of offensive add-ons, a lot of tools to help accelerate energy because you have a lot of great options with Dark and Expanded. So only one of this Darkrai X. It's not really necessary at 2. This is a turbo deck. With 1, we should be good enough that we get 1 or 2 knockouts on GX or EX Pokemon. Basically, fetch us 2 or 4 prizes. If it's prized, if it dies, it is what it is. But I can't really afford to run any more. I like it at 1. I don't want to really have extra of a Pokemon like this. It's kind of like our secret weapon kind of card. It's kind of tough to explain. There is space for more basic Pokemon, like you could easily take out something out and add another one, but it has always worked fine with me with running 1, and the focus isn't just on him, Darkrai X. But he is going to be the star. You at least want to get one big KO with this guy if you can. Now, the other classic partner that's fucking great as always is the Darkrai EX, the old one, the original one. And this Pokemon is great. I really appreciate Dark Cloak. It's something that I really miss when I use this deck in Standard. It's really not the same. And Night Spear, even though it seems kind of weak these days, it's actually a solid attack. It can still do some shit. I appreciate the snipe damage. I mean, if you think about some of the Stage 1 GX Pokemon that basically do 120 and 130 for 3, it's around the same. So it goes to show you this card, even though it's feeling the power creep, it has survived quite well. Dark Cloak is always going to be good anyway. So 2 of these, this is actually something I do want to have a backup on. I don't want this to get prized, or if it gets knocked out, I don't have another one. I mean, of course, we do have Stretcher in this deck, but this is a Pokemon that I really like having 2 of usually in the deck. And in other versions, I even opt for 3. Okay, maybe 3 is too much, but definitely 2. I really just can't imagine playing with 1. I really prefer having 2 around. Alright, now for the newer guy, which isn't really that new anymore, I guess. Burning Shadows came, I think it might even be like 2 years ago by now. A year and a half, anyway. But Darkrai GX is pretty good, even better with Expanded with all the tools that you have. This Pokemon, we aim to put in the discard pile, discarded using Ultra Balls, Computer Search, our Junipers, these sorts of methods, and get it back with a Darkness Energy. So basically, if you do this, Dark Cleave is essentially a 2 for 130 attachment. And Deaded GX, it's basically a 2 energy GX attack. And it's quite good. It gets energy in play, Darkness energy in play, to fuel for Darkrai X. It's a great Pokemon. Now in the past I was running 2, and there's benefits and advantages and disadvantages to running 2 as opposed to running 3. If you run 2, you can do the job. It's probably going to work more as a support Pokemon that way. Get you the Darkness energy from the discard pile and just sit on the bench. It did its job. And, cool, maybe you have space for something else. But if you run 3, you have the option to do the effect 3 times, like get the additional Darkness energy in play. And sometimes I really dig having the ability to do that. Now, the annoying thing is, though, with running this guy as 3 is that your chances increase very much of this guy opening up as your opening Pokemon. And I never want this guy in the opening position, seriously. Like, this guy is bad. Like, I don't want to open with him. Not only because it means that he's not in the discard pile and I got the +1, but he's not really an early attacker anyway. But yeah, this guy, at least, if I open with Darkrai X, I know that, okay, I have him. I'll just attach a Darkness Energy, get him on the bench. It's not so bad. But this guy, you really just want to discard him. I mean, I don't want to open with 1. If I open with 1, then it means that, the other 2 is basically the same scenario as if I had 2 and I didn't open with them. Get the restoration effect. So it's kind of shitty, to be honest. but I do want to have him just have the option to get that extra restoration, maybe use 3 in a game. And for that reason, we added a few different cards to make him more worthwhile, I guess. Take advantage of Dead End GX maybe, because before I only had 1 chance. This way maybe we have a few more chances, or at least I guess 2 chances. I just basically added another laser. If you get the Dead End GX work, it's great. It's actually very much advised that you allow this guy to get a knockout. Take advantage of your GX attack since you can use 1. Use it on a big GX Pokemon and get a free knockout. For 3 Darkness Energy and just sacrificing a laser, it's pretty worth it if you ask me. Get a 1-hit knockout without any worry. And he's not really a bad attacker anyway. If you just don't have that many Darkness Energy in play, Dark Cleave is pretty good, solid 130 for a basic Pokemon. You don't have to care about resistance for fairies too. It's not bad. It's not bad. Stats are basically the same as the Darkrai X, so it's okay, I guess. For the other basic dudes, we have our good old Eviltal, just 2. Maybe I'd run 3, but I actually don't really want to attack all day with this guy like before. Open with this guy. It's good with you open with it, but you don't want to attack too many times with it and just do 30 and slowly get the Darkness Energy in play. I'd rather just have this guy, let's say, use it on the first turn, and then by next turn, hopefully I have enough Darkness Energy in play to start using Darkrai X. But he's a nice little Pokemon. Doing Oblivion Wind, of course. Its stats are perfect for a basic Pokemon. Gives us the variety of weakness and lightning. I said that a million times. And Darkness Blade is a solid attack. Now, it doesn't get the job 1-hit knockout on Hoopa, but with the add-ons, it should be good enough. So it's not bad. Alright, and then the last Pokemon for Darkness Pokemon at least is this cool Darkrai Prism. This card really is a double-edged sword. It's great because when we play it down and we have spare energies and we attach them, you automatically have a big lead when it comes to Darkness Energy in play. So, Darkrai X gets fueled up so easily. On the flip side though, if you open with him, if you have to play him down with no Darkness Energy, and all the other situations where you can't really take advantage of a Nightmare Star, then he's still, I guess, solid, a big 160 HP Pokemon, given 1 prize, but its attack isn't the greatest, and you really just want to take advantage of Nightmare Star. Otherwise, he's mediocre. He's really cool. I really love the art. Gives me those DP Darkrai vibes. I don't know why, but I really dig it. It's a good card. Sometimes it actually saves my ass. Sometimes it really becomes the difference of me winning a game, setting up quick, and just being a valuable asset. And other times he's just dead. He's just a card that I wish I didn't have. He's just in the way, and it doesn't work. So I guess in a way he isn't really a consistent card. You could take this out for something else, something more consistent. But it's basically sacrifice a little bit of consistency for the power it can give you. So that's how it is. For Abyssal Sleep, it is a solid attack at 120. It can get some knockouts on basic Pokemon, I guess. And for GXs and EXs, I guess we can get that double sleep thing. Maybe it can be something, but you don't really want to rely on him and attack with him, maybe in certain situations. But there isn't really any better Darkness Prism or just other Dark Prism Pokemon anyway. So, he should be good. It's just too good not to run our one-off Prism card that we can run. Okay, and then the last Pokemon is Tapu Lele GX. Only 1 should be okay. I don't want to bench space. You guys maybe not realize, but believe it or not, it's actually quite significant, especially with the third Darkrai GX. That's really something. I want to have the Darkrai X around. You want to have your Darkrai EX2, the supporting one with Dark Cloak. Maybe you're going to have an Eviltal, and maybe you have Darkrai Prism. So before you know it, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Bench space gets filled up, and then you don't have space for multiple of these, and that sucks. Or if you have multiple of these, it means you don't have something else. So this is why I'm not 100% on running 3 Darkrai GX. Maybe 2 is better. But, I really just want to use this deck more with 3 and just see how it is. I mean, I've already used it enough, and it really just, there are advantages and disadvantages, but Just feel like this guy's too good not to run. That's just my theory. But yeah, only one Tapu Lele GX. It's gonna get the job done with Wonder Tag. Should be okay. We can attack with Energy Drive too, of course, since it's easy to put Darkness Energy in play with this deck. Okay, so as you guys can see, a very, very big trainer skeleton and only 10 basic Pokemon. Everybody's basic, so if they do the whole fucking Jolteon EX thing or something like that, then we really have no way to retaliate, actually. The only thing is basically to just hopefully get Jolteon asleep with this dude. And that's it. I think maybe the GX attack works too. I don't know, but I'm really going all out. I'm not really worried about, these safeguard Pokemon and stuff. Of course, we do have options to deal with them in the form of this guy. Not everybody's in EX and GX, but some of those Pokemon that just block basic Pokemon, like if I just stumble a random Pyroar and expanded, we really have no choice to do shit. That's just basically it. So just 10 basic Pokemon, a lot of space for trainers, and we really need a lot and have a lot. 37, big as fuck. The ace big of choice is of course going to be Computer Search. Not only is a great consistency card, of course, grab us anything, Joker. It's one of my best discard outlets. I really want to get Darkness Energy from the hand to the discard pile. And along with that, we have the other discard outlet, which is Ultra Ball. 3 of these, maybe 4 wouldn't be bad, but at 3 it should be okay. I really just aim to use Max Elixir a lot too in this deck, or actually no, only 1. But you guys get the idea. 3 should be okay. Alright, and this is our first ball, I guess. Get us anything. And then we have the Nest Ball, just one of these to grab any basic Pokemon is fine. As long as it's not Darkrai Prism and Tapu Lele GX. And actually these guys too. You don't want to grab these guys either. But it should be okay. We have 5 targets. It's not bad. It's okay. Alright. And these are basically the Pokemon searches, I guess. Then we have the energy searches, which is of course going to be Professor's Letter. I'm really missing this in standard. I really am. And it's great. Add the Darkness Energy, discard them with Ultra Ball. Good old combo stuff, Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. That's how I look at it. And then we have our other energy sort of searching acceleration for basically to attach that as well. Max Elixir, just one of these. Only one because I was never the biggest fan of this card. And since I have such a more reliable ways in the form of Dark Patch and Evil Tall, this guy to get the Darkness Energy in play, I really feel is okay. I don't need to run many Max Elixirs, but of course, naturally, a lot of people really dig this card and play it in Force. That's just my theory. I don't really want to rely on it too much, and sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's you wish you had more of these, but it is what it is. That's how I'm playing the deck. In standard, I run more, of course, since we don't have any other options. With a big 13 Darkness Energy, we should never really miss it. So yeah, that's our other option right there. I have my typical standard stuff, the one Field Blower, the one Startling Megaphone for item, for tool and stadium removal. Garbotoxin is always a bitch too, so of course you want to counter that as well. Then I have my standard recovery options in the stretcher, and there's no need to play Super Rod in this deck. We don't really care about recovering energies. We should have more than enough, always really. My one switch and my one floatstone. We don't want to over rely on Dark Cloak. Sometimes it's nice to have these around. And I think that's it for the standard stuff. You gotta have your mail, one mail, always good. Draw a card, basically a trainer. We're never gonna miss it with 37 cards like that. And this is just my standard stuff. Now for the damage adders, the sort of add-on KO damage assists, we have our stadiums, the one Reverse Valley and one Devout Field, just one of each. I always like having the variety. In case my opponent's using a Darkness deck, maybe I don't help them out, or if they're using Metal Pokemon, then you don't use this. It is what it is. It's player preference. If you would just want to run 2 of these or 2 of the Devout Field, it's up to you. But just 1 and 1, I always do shit like this usually. Okay, it's the same with the Field Blower and Startling Megaphone. You know, most people would just opt to Field Blower for flexibility, but I like to have this just in case my opponent plays 3 tools. I really just like the play where you just discard everything with this. That's it. For our offensive tools, it's basically the same concept. Is 1 Choice Band, 1 Muscle Band, and 1 Fury Belt here. And all of these have disadvantages and advantages of their own. It's basically the same shit. Fury Belt only gives 10 extra, but it's on everybody. You don't have to worry if they're GX or EX, and it gives you that extra 40 HP. I really dig that. Having Darkrai X, usually you want to attach it on that guy and make sure it survives, or Darkrai GX. I really dig that. Choice Band, of course, is your card that really assists with KOs. Getting that one-hit knockout on a stage GX or excuse me, EX there, when you don't really have all the darkness energies in the world, it helps. Muscle Band, the same thing. It's just cut in between. It doesn't give you the HP, doesn't give you the 10 extra on any EX or GX Pokemon, but gives you the flexibility of doing the extra damage on anything. I like attaching this to Eviltal, the basic Eviltal, and just attacking on anything. Other maybe basic Pokemon like this guy that only give 1 prize and boost the damage. It's really cool. Right, I think I mentioned the Dark Patch briefly. This is your standard energy acceleration. Maxing this out. Maybe it can be dead, maybe 3 is better. Maybe you can do 3 and add a max elixir, I guess, but I really just want to favor this card. This deck is so turbo that I want this to be live always. That's the whole point. Then the last card is Hypnotoxic Laser. I used to run 1 just, I guess, for the extra, damage, offensiveness. You basically do this and it becomes another card that you remove from your hand, for Lily, and just a card that you can just play down. You don't have to care. And it is one of the ways that Darkrai GX can use the GX attack, but I decided to go with 2 just to make the GX attack more alive. I think that's good enough. Laser is a broken card, of course, always was, always will be. So yeah, that's the other card. And all that's left, I believe, should be the supporters. Straightforward. I actually forgot VS Seeker standard, 2 of these 2. You guys should be really familiar with my skeletons by now. A lot of these cards, I just believe in the same number, the 2 VS Seekers, the male, It's very specific situations where I would run more of these or just change other shit up. My numbers are pretty much the same. Now, since this is a turbo deck with a lot of Ultra Balls, the Computer Surge, the lasers, and a lot of cards that we can just play, a lot of tools, Lily is a no-brainer. I dig this card, of course. Aim to get it with Tapu Lele if we can on the first turn. Draw until you have 8. Excellent. Then you gotta have your 3 Juniper, of course. Discard Outlet, all-around great card. Perfect in this deck. And since it is expanded, Chorus, of course, is always cool. And then 2 Cynthia and 1 N for the supporters. The 1 Skyla, since we don't really look for very specific things, 1 of her is enough. Don't need more. And the good old Lysander. I guess people would favor Guzma these days just because it gives you the option to switch, but I still prefer this guy. It's more of a badass than Guzma. I'd rather have this corporate psycho guy in my deck that wanted to destroy the world because it wasn't beautiful, even though he fucked up, he was an idiot, than just a wannabe rapper or wannabe thug, which is Guzma. Nothing against Guzma, I just think I like this guy better. Whatever. Both characters aren't really that cool anyway, compared to other characters like Charon and Steven. Alright, I digressed enough. And Darkness Energy, just 13, just enough so that you can get a lot of them in the discard pile and always have 1 to manually attach. If you miss manually attaching a Darkness Energy, it really is sad. You don't want to miss a beat. So with 13 of them, the letters, you should be good enough. Making sure you have having at least 1 or a few in hand to attach every turn, and then being able to discard a lot of them in the discard pile. And that's basically the deck. Pretty simple, pretty familiar with the other versions, I guess. I'm going to post a few games with it and have some fun with it and expand it. Always a popular deck, I guess, or at least it used to be before Zorak GX. I think it still is the Skyfield versions with this guy and all the energy acceleration. But, you know, always a fun deck. A lot of people enjoy this deck and expand it. It's turbo, it's fun, it's cool. Darkrai is cool in general. That's basically it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. Cerebro 24, what's up?